Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dive Into the Mind podcast. This is Lauren, and before this episode starts, I just want to give you a brief description on what this episode is about. It's about mental health and isolation, as you can tell in the title. But however, because it was our first long distance and first podcast, we use it filming OBS and Discord, and so it's a little choppy because of the connection issues. We did find a new way to film it, and it's a lot better than this one, so our other episodes will not be like this one. I wanted to release this episode anyway, despite the choppiness, because it's such a good lesson to hear about mental health and other people's mental health. And Nick has a really good story, and I think my story is really good too. So I understand if you can't listen to it, despite the choppiness. I get that. Also, it did cut us off 40 minutes into the podcast, so there is no ending. But basically, what we said is it's okay to not be okay sometimes, and a lot of us struggle with mental health, and you know you're not alone. And if any of you would like to reach out via email, via Instagram, it's all in the link in the description. And we're doing this because we love it. It's something that helps us, something that helps hopefully others. So that was basically what we said in the end. But again, I'm sorry for the choppiness. And again, every episode is every Wednesday, starting this week. So I hope you guys enjoy Dive Into the Mind.
Alright, so Lauren and I want to start the podcast to pretty much just get our conversation out and be able to express what is going on in the world, talk about a lot of different topics. So the whole podcast isn't necessarily on one thing, but each episode will be on a different topic. We'll have episodes, but for the entire podcast, it's just conversations about who frickin' knows what, you know? So today, very interesting episode theme. So, Lauren, why don't you introduce the theme?
Okay, well, today's topic is mental health and isolation.
Yeah, so pretty much this is one of the most not talked about, needs to be talked about issues in anyone's life, honestly. And now, especially, it is currently May 1st, day 4,789, and some change of the coronavirus epidemic, pandemic, whatever demic you want to choose. This is it. So, pretty much, we are obviously all locked in our houses or wherever people may be. And so we all know that mental health right now is very important. And even before this, it was so important, but nobody really ever talked about it. Lauren and I both have very interesting backgrounds and interesting places in our and very interesting places where we want to be in the future. And so we figured why not tackle one of the hardest issues to talk about first. Yeah, this is a bad episode 1. Global pandemic and mental health being taken on by two college idiots. Let's begin. Alright, so obviously, like I said, it's coronavirus season right now. It's still the middle to end of this whole pandemic. And before we get into the actual and all of this, what we're going through right now, why don't you go ahead and give her a little background on yourself? So things like your age, where you live, in terms of state, what year are you? Do you go to school? Yada yada.
All right, well, I'm Lauren, if you haven't heard. I'm 18 years old. I attend a small college in Georgia. Very small. I mean, I guess medium size. Very small. I'm a mass communication major with a minor in business or management, whatever you choose to call it. I enjoy weightlifting even though I'm very fragile and small and all my bones ache when I do it, but I still do it. I read, but I can't spell. I have a paralyzed vocal cord, which is why I sound like I'm speaking through a beatboxer right now. And what about you, Nick?
All right. So obviously, Lauren and I are not strangers, so we do know all these things. Excuse me. I had some weekends in. Um. So we know all this stuff about each other. We're good friends. I am 22 years old. I go to the same university as Lauren, very small university in Georgia. I currently live in Knoxville, Tennessee, because my parents are here. They just moved here a week before the whole coronavirus. So, yeah, but I am a double major in psychology, and my other major is business administration and leadership. Uh, it's a mouthful, but it's what's gonna pay the bills one day, hopefully.
That's
But
what I hope.
anyway, yeah, we can only hope. So I plan on getting my master's in uh, industrialized organizational psychology, also known as IO psychology. But I am a senior as of today, I guess. I
Wow.
still don't know if I did my classes today. I have no freaking clue. Let's assume that I did it today and that I'm a senior. And Lauren, you are now a
Yes, I am. And
congratulations.
thank
How does
you.
it feel?
It feels like a mess. And speaking of psychology, I actually passed my psychology class. I got a 79.9.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about
Congrats.
it.
I'll be taking neuroscience over the summer.
Okay, I kind of liked
Wishing you
learning
luck.
about the brain. It wasn't that bad. I mean, I had this thing, it's like
Yeah,
old
well,
Mom Nicolita, and it's pretty fun.
at least you now are the co-founder of a podcast involving the brain in
Hey,
the the title. So ironic, right?
ironic.
Anyway, um, so I'm at a different stage in my life than Lauren. Just a couple by her brother. I went to school with her brother, who now goes to school with her as well as me. And he's my age and grade senior, and he's my roommate. Has been for going on 3 years now, and
Wow.
so a good friend of mine. And so I met who is the younger sister of my a good friend, and so that's how I met Lauren. So that's a little background info on us, and I think that's to fulfill your needs, everything, because I know everyone listening to this all dying, just dying to hear more. But for today, I think information on it. I think we should now get. So I'll start off with this. Obviously, we saw that this pandemic was going to be this way, and no one knew that we'd be locked into our houses and not able to go outside, see the sunlight for months at end. And honestly, it's the first time that this has ever happened in the history of the United States, the history of the world. So obviously, it's very stressful and very, very baffling to so many people, and no one knows what's going on. No one knows how to get. So I'll start off by Lauren, how has your Corona pandemic been?
It's been okay. It's a struggle living with my parents again after living on my own for the first time. Um, it's
Mhm.
definitely different. Mentally struggling, but we'll get into that in a minute. I've found out who my real friends are through this whole pandemic, who actually checks on me. So that's interesting.
Mm.
How's yours?
Yeah, it's everyone's, obviously, like I said earlier, no one knows what is happening right now. No one knows what is going to happen, especially. And so no one, we'd be locked in here for months at end, not able to go anywhere. And so in my, I like to think my case is a little bit different. So pretty much my corona, it started off as a corona the first week. And everyone went, I came down here with a group of friends for spring break and was all excited that we got to get a second week of spring break due to this new virus that was just starting. We didn't really think anything of it, but after a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more, we obviously realized that we were going to be locked in our houses for what feels like eternity at this point.
Exactly.
So for me, I decided it was time for me to make actual changes. Um, I went the week before coronavirus started. Um, I lost my best friend and girlfriend at the time, and she broke up with me, and we were kind of sort of dating, not really dating. But no matter what we were doing, she was my best friend, and she was my everything. She was I woke up to and wanted to talk to. She was the first person I thought of in the morning. She was the last person I thought of at night, whether we were dating or not. And so I lost that. And the reason I lost that was because I was struggling with a lot and have been for years in terms of my mental health and how I portray and see myself. So I said, you know what? Whether I'm single in the future or she and I become something again, hopefully that one, no matter what happens, I need to take care of myself. And one
Exactly.
thing that she said, that she taught me so many things of how to live life and how to live it healthy, and all things from simple things like you need more water nipples all the way to you need to use a restroom more during the day, to more serious things like you need to take and stop putting others ahead of yourself because you matter. And that was one of the issues. I did not put myself as an equal to her. I didn't put myself as an equal to my friends. I didn't put myself as an equal to anyone. So I decided that whether I'm single or she and I eventually become something again, like I said, hopefully that one, but no matter what happens, I said, instead of sitting around locked in my house and being sad all day, every day, which I was already doing when I was in school, I said, due to this coronavirus, let me make a positive out of it. And so I decided to try and change my life around. And honestly, I didn't really know how to do that in terms of mental health. I had already been seeing people, therapists, psychiatrists, been on medication, been on multiple different types of medication for years. And so I was saying, what's the one thing that I haven't really tried or succeeded? And that's my physical appearance. And since I became newly single, I said, I my ex got in the best shape of her life because she went through a mental crisis and a physical crisis. She had a lot of physical problems, and she totally transformed her body thanks to some great scientists and whatnot. And she looks better than ever. And so I said, you know what? I want that for myself. I need that for myself. So I got into contact with a personal trainer and decided, okay, it's time to go. It's time to really push my body and push my limit and work out every day. And I have. Not necessarily every day, but about 5 to 6 times a week. And then that was nice in the beginning. I said, you know what, I need something else. I need more than just working out. So I started eating healthy. And I actually started following a nutrition plan that my parents and my brother were on for months and for years now that helped them lose massive amounts of weight. So I said, you know what, I'm not necessarily trying to lose weight, I'm trying to gain muscle and look good. And in my own eyes and in other people's eyes. So this is what I want. So you need to eat healthy, you need to work out every day. So I started doing those things. But the results weren't coming as fast as I hoped. So about a month went by, and I honestly couldn't tell if I was seeing any results, feeling any results, yada, yada, yada.
Been there.
So I decided to look into some more things and do some more things. So in addition to working out and eating healthy, I'm eating more times during the day. I'm eating about 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours from when I wake up to when I go to bed. I'm working out as well as running every day. I go for a 45-minute hike on a treadmill. I'm not working out at a gym, or I have very limited equipment here at my house, but that's what I've been doing. And so working out, eating right, and running every day. But then I said, you know what, that's not enough. I don't feel like that's enough. So what I started to do is 100 push-ups whenever I in the did 50 or 100 sit-ups, excuse me, and 50 every day I wake up. I do every and then I do about 100 more sit-ups at night and 50 more push-ups at night. And then hopefully, if I'm being good that day, I do 100 sit-ups in the middle of the day and 50 push-ups in the middle of the day as well. Now, obviously, that's a lot of work. So I have my bad days. With that being said, my corona pandemic has been very life changing, somewhat. I'm not going to say I'm any better now than I was before, but other people can say and are saying that they see a difference in me and that they're so proud of me and for me, and they really do see a physical difference in my body. I honestly, I don't feel it, I don't see it, but they see it, and so they also see that I am better mentally. And the reason that all came about is because I focused on my, and that's the biggest takeaway that I've been able to give myself and have during this pandemic is I turned it from, okay, I'm locked in my house, this sucks, to I'm locked in my house, so this is a good time to focus on myself. So I'll ask you, what has your daily routine kind of been like this past 2 months now? We're going on 2 months about.
Just about 2 months now. Well, flowing on to what you said, I am very proud of you. It's really good to hear that you're doing well, especially like knowing you just for a short period of time and knowing you. We both had our talks about mental health. You give me your little 5-minute emotions, which I always respect. But I think what I relate to is, and I think why we're friends is because we relate on that level. We understand sometimes the pain we go through. I personally struggled with depression and ADHD. I've struggled with ADHD since I was 7 years old, and I've depression since I was about an eighth grader. And I've tried to do everything to push it away, push it aside, try to be somewhat normal. And I didn't lose a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I lost friends this year. And it put me in a deeper depression than I already was. And I completely get what you were saying on, like, you know, it sucks. Like, you wake up to these people, you go to bed talking to these people, and then they're gone. And I learned
Mm-hmm.
it hurt because I didn't know who I was. And during this
Mm-hmm.
pandemic, I started this pandemic off in a really bad mental state. I was like, no, this is terrible. I can't work out. I can't lift weights, because lifting weights for me is something that no matter what, good day, bad day, I was gonna go do. I was gonna go do it. I don't care if it was a tornado coming and the gym could tear down. I was gonna go lift the weights. And because I couldn't do that, I put myself in a state of, okay, well, now I'm going to eat everything and anything I can get my hands on. So I've had a couple of binges. I've had a couple of, bad things mentally because I can't go do the thing I love. However, this last week, I have been rethinking that. And instead of overthinking, well, I can't lift weights, I can't go to the gym right now because of the virus, I've found new ways. So I've told myself I'm going to start running. And if anyone knows me, especially you, everyone knows I hate cardio. I am very anti cardio. It's that.
As do I. As do I.
I want to be bulky. I want to be big. And I know that's creepy for some men out there and even some women. Like, that's gross. But no, I was born 1 pound, and so I don't like feeling small. I don't like feeling underestimated. It makes me feel like I'm not there. It makes me feel weak. So I like
Yeah,
being
one
more.
of yeah one of the things I always struggle with is my physical appearance. Now you're in 10 million times better shape than I am. I've been all the way up there when I was in early high school. I've been the 215, 220 pounds when I was playing sports because that was my position. That's what I needed to be in football. And so I was okay, because I thought I was the jock. I thought
Yeah,
I was a cool kid, but I hated working out. I hated doing sports. My bones were aching because I put on so much weight so fast, and all while I was growing. So I started seriously bad physical pain. So I quit due to that, due to injury. And
makes sense.
in order to combat my weight down, I said, I'm gonna stop eating lunch at school because it's so gross. There's no point in me eating food that I
It is disgusting.
started from a pretty early age of bad habits in terms of not eating lunch and not eating breakfast, which I didn't do anyway. I was eating one meal, and I'll be honest, it worked. I lost a bunch of weight. I got down to about 180, 170, and was pretty consistent,
Because
which
of
is still
the
big
calorie
because I'm
deficit.
not very tall. I'm only 5'10" now, so at this point I was probably 5'9", 5'8". So as I kept aging and whatnot, my mental state was still not. Always struggle with learning disabilities. I've been in some of the worst schools ever in terms of working with kids with dyslexia and learning disabilities. Just horrible situation. But on top of that, I suffer from severe anxiety, severe depression, social anxiety, the whole 9 yards, and OCD
DM5.
on top of everything. So I have a complete list of serious stuff that I deal with and have dealt with for years. And like I said, that one person that was able to keep my mind off it and get my mind off it. And this past school year, I just haven't had her very much. We've gone through breakups, multiple breaks, and we've both done things that we are not proud of that hurt. the other. I don't get too much. Because, like I said, what's done is done, and you can never change the past. What you can change is the future. And so that said, let me work on myself. How? Okay? The answer is physical appearance. I don't know how to change. No one does. No one really does. There is no. So at the end of the day, I said, what is there signs for? What is things that proven that if I do them,
Yeah.
I can change something about me for better. And so that was eating right. That was working out. And so I started that. And halfway, about probably a month in, I'd say I was proud, I was happy, I was glad I was doing that I was doing at the time. But I was still suffering. I was still thinking about her. I was thinking about my anxiety. I was still and so
Was that
what
was that
ended
with
up
me?
happening?
Was that working out with me, or was
What
that
was
working
that?
out? Was that working out with me, or was that working out in the pandemic?
Working out with the pandemic.
Okay.
Definitely working out with the pandemic because I started to feel good. Which I mean, I felt good when I was working out with you and back at school, but I hated it. I hated being in a gym with other people. I hated how I looked, how I lifted. I hated everything. So there were times when I would just want to leave, which
Makes
was every
sense.
time.
Which I
I'll be
understood.
honest. But yeah, so during this pandemic, about a month in, actually 2 months in, so about a month in, I said, you know what, I'm so glad that I've been doing this. I've stuck with it. I see any difference, but I feel like I've done work. I know I've used apps, I've used workout training. I know I'm doing at least, and something that somebody said to me once was, you can always tell the person who got broken up with. You can always tell which person got dumped because right after they go into this crazy,
Change their life
I'm
mode,
better than this. I'm better than being dumped. And they get what's called, I guess, what some people call revenge. And
basically.
I didn't want revenge. I don't. What I want is to be happy with myself. And
Yes.
then hopefully once I'm happy with myself, I can be happy with someone else. That old
Exactly.
saying, you can't really love someone until you love yourself.
It's
And
completely true.
that's very true, So to a certain extent, it's not all that true. You can love somebody, but you can't love them fully. Love
Until you
yourself.
love yourself.
So I was trying to work on myself during this time. I wasn't obviously with her, but I also wasn't with anyone. I wasn't trying to find anyone else. I wasn't out there just looking. I was solely focused on myself. And so, with that being said, about a month in, I went on Instagram one day, and it was my cheat day. It was a day where I just said I could have one. It was just I worked for 5, 6 days of working out and eating right. I deserve one good day. You know, so I was eating Zaxby's. I love my Zaxby's.
Oh yes.
And I go on Instagram and I see a picture of my ex, and she was in a swimsuit, wear two-piece swimsuit, wear one piece. And I told her she was just as beautiful as no matter what she wore, it didn't. And she agreed. She wasn't that type of that would be out there in bathing suits and showing that off because she used to not look the way she looks now. Now, she looked amazing then and does now. She looked more amazing in her own eyes, obviously, as well as that. She had makeup and she had her hair done in the way that she knew I don't know why, but I have a thing for the way she did her hair in this one. She did did that. And on top of it, it was a print, a like cheetah print, whatever print, which usually is seen as more, not scandalous, but more attractive. It's seen
Feminine. It's very feminine.
Yeah, it's very attractive. Guys and girls find it very attractive. And she used to never like that. She and I used to make fun of when people would do that. Now, granted, would I like to see her and that stuff? Yeah, of course. Whatever, shirts, swimsuits, whatever. It doesn't. But what did matter, this was how she perceived herself. She perceived herself as better than before. Better looking, better mental state, and I was happy for her. I truly was, and still am. But when I saw that picture and looked down at what I was eating, I broke down. I'll be honest, I absolutely broke down. And I said, what am I doing? I immediately ran to the bathroom. I tried to make myself throw up. I didn't like what I was eating. I tried to throw up. I tried to get it out of my system. I couldn't. I just couldn't. And so I ended up doing this, just screaming. I was pounding the floor, screaming and crying. And so I was screaming, crying, pounding the floor, and wrists and arms felt like I had broken bones from pounding the hard floor so much. I started kicking the wall. And once I was kicking the wall so much that I couldn't feel my feet, I started screaming. And so seeing her with this new body, this new confidence, this new self-love made me angry because I want, it wasn't necessarily that I felt like she was showing off to me or she was trying to show me what I was missing, which I don't believe that. She's just not that type of person. She's an amazing.
She's happy.
And so, yeah, what I was mad and sad and frustrated about was she was happy and I was, and she made me so happy, and I know I made her happy. At least I hope I did. And she was my everything, and still is. Still to this day. This morning I woke up thinking of her. Last night I went to bed thinking. All of our little inside jokes about my fat fingers, or I need to drink more water, or drain the swamp. Nobody understands that inside joke, but she would. So what I'm saying is, like, just everything makes me think of her, and everything makes me want to be with her. Hopefully I can. But the most important thing is that I can't right now, because I need to find myself. And that's what this coronavirus did. It gave me an outlet. It gave me that chance. It said, hey, take a break from school, take a break from living on your parents, your brother are here. They'll help you out. Just work on yourself. And so that is what I have taken away from it. It's the key to mental health. It truly is. And there are times when you just can't focus on yourself. And that's okay. There were times when I can't focus on myself. I have to focus on school, or I have to focus on sports because I play sports again. And I have to focus on this. I have to focus on that. I have to put everyone else. And like I said, putting everyone else is not the way you need to do it.
Exactly.
The way you do it is you need to focus on yourself. Understand yourself. Come to an agreement with yourself on how you feel confident, you feel good about yourself. And then and only then can you actually be with people that you love and want to be with. Like I said, I'm not here right now trying to find people. I'm not here talking to people because I'm trying to focus. And I hope she's doing the same thing. Honestly, that's something she said she was gonna do. And I'll be honest, she's mistaken the path and is not happy she made that mistake. And she felt horrible for it. So hopefully she learned what she sees as a mistake and really does focus on her. Because she told me straight up, you need you need more help than I can give you. And I was like, you're right, I do. But please just don't leave me because I still need you. And she said, I can't because I need to focus on myself as well. So that's the more of the coronavirus. That's the overlying issue or the overlying solution to this whole anxiety and depression and loneliness. Truly just focus on yourself. Find things that you find ways to take care of yourself. If you don't the things that you are doing to take care of yourself, but you know it's good for you and truly good for you, not you telling yourself it's good for you, then stick with it. How I eat right now. I have broccoli every night for I used to gag.
Jeez.
I have a very bad gag reflex. I hate broccoli, but I've had it so much for dinner. I've had it pretty much every night for 2 months. Not every night, but I pretty much had it every night for 2 months, and I actually somewhat like it now. Just because you don't like something the first 10, 15 times you try it doesn't mean that it's something that you truly don't like. You know, science shows that you have to try something. I believe it's around 16 times before you truly memorize it when you're studying for school, or try it 16 times before you decide whether you like food or not, or not. So that's something that I've come to find out. You have to just take care of it. No matter if you like it or not, you just have to. And if you don't do it now, and that's fine. Failure is a part of learning. Failure is, and I know that makes no sense for people, but when you fail, your mind remembers the time, the feelings that you felt when the memory, the horrible, just nastiness of that failure, whether it's an exam or in a relationship or car accident or with a friend or boyfriend, girlfriend, or your mind will remember that and it will hold on to. And subconsciously, when you come into or come across another situation that somewhat resembles that past one where you failed, your mind will subconsciously remember that you failed because of X, Y, and Z. And so therefore, don't do X, Y, or Z. And it truly is not simple, but it takes time to work on. You have to fail to succeed. You have to succeed to fail. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, working on yourself,
Is really the
especially
only
now,
answer.
but also after this pandemic is over, you have to work on your.
Yeah, that's something I'm generally learned throughout this whole pandemic, and like even before, even like with friends. I gotta be honest, when I got to college, it was completely not how I imagined it. And my depression got 10 times worse immediately, like within the first week. I wasn't making friends, I wasn't connecting with people, and honestly, it was because I wasn't truly myself. I wasn't truly connected with myself and what I knew what Lauren could do and what Lauren needed to do. And a lot of that came from with not knowing who I was and not being happy with myself. And for example, you lost your girlfriend and your best friend. I lost two friends, the first two friends I made in college, and it crushed me. But right after that, even when I spent an entire week in my room eating McDonald's every day, I learned that, okay, I'm not happy with myself, and that means that's why I can't be happy with other people. That's why I'm not connecting with people. That's why I'm not building these relationships truly. Because
Yeah, there is a sense of that. You know, like I said earlier, I'm a senior, and I regret most of my college life. I regret
yeah, that's how I
every second
feel.
of the day. And
That's how I feel.
the reason is because I was under this dark shadow
Exactly.
cloud
And I
of
was hoarding
misery,
myself
depression, anxiety. Yeah, I was under this dark cloud of all these things, so I was afraid of
to do stuff.
social
And
interactions.
yeah,
Although I am the funny person in my friend group, everyone knows
exactly.
me as the funny. I'm deathly afraid of social interaction.
And I
I
think
have
that,
the I have a great friend group, and I love them to death, and they love me to death. Very small. It's a small friend group, and it's very tight. And I'm thankful that we went on spring breaks week, or not this week, but this past the trip
yeah,
that you were supposed to go on yourself had to go. But
that
anyway,
didn't even help. But no, I get what you're saying. And I think a lot of that is coming from I did the same thing. I